all the games I used to play in my younger, wilder days. The game of clubs and tees had never crossed my mind. But after some discussion with my closest, dearest friends, I decided that...
Welcome into another episode of the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast. I'm AndrewPutters. I'm here with my partner in crime, Joe Nicely. Joe, Wyndham Championship last week. Had to go with the early tee times due to a storm. So you probably found out on Twitter before you watched it on TV. 6-man playoff, Kevin Kisner coming out on top. My heart play of the week. Other than that, Joe, last regular season stop, everybody positioned for the top 125. But let's get into last week real quick, Joe. What was your take on the Wyndham Championship?
Yeah, man, no huge surprises at the Wyndham. Nice call on Kisner, by the way, Andrew. Your heart play last week. My heart play looked like he was going to win the tournament, but kind of gagged a little bit down the stretch. Russell Henley was my pick last week, and he led the whole way but couldn't get it done. Then we saw that massive, crazy 6-man playoff. Adam Scott letting the guys off the hook on the first playoff hole, missing a 3-4 footer. And then Kiz coming up huge on the second playoff hole. So great call on Kiz, man. We saw Webb make a run, the Wyndham legend, right in the thick of things, and no big surprises as to who was in the playoff. Andrew, ball strikers, terrific iron players, guys we've seen play really well at Sedgefield before. So a really cool way to close out the year, and looking forward to getting into the playoffs this week.
Yeah, what about Hadley? Hole-in-one on Sunday, shooting 62 to get, and then Justin Rose 3-putting 18. Actually, that was a miss the playoff as well, I think. Wouldn't that have been wild, an 8-man playoff? Like you said, Russell Henley kind of gagging it off there on the back nine, almost an identical deal to the Sunday out in San Diego in the U.S. Open. We gotta maybe put a little mental note on this that, yeah, we're gonna have to pick him up whenever his price point's pretty low, because it looks like his winnability is not very high. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a fair statement, man. I mean, we know how tough it is to win on the PGA Tour, so it's certainly not a specific knock on Russell Henley. But yeah, he hadn't shown himself to be a closer this year, AP, but has played some great golf. Really strong iron play last week. Just it's tough protecting a lead. In that situation, you mentioned they moved up the tee times because of the weather. So these guys were playing lift, clean, and place. I mean, it was basically just target golf out there. So really tough position to try to defend a lead in that spot when you got guys that are just throwing darts out there.
Yeah, man. Did you feel like too, if you just looked at the leaderboard without watching the tournament, it really was, I hate to say predictable, but very chalky from at the top. I mean, like you said, Webb Simpson played well. Siwoo Kim, who had a great history there, played well. We talked about Kevin Na, who, the course perfectly sets up for him. And then, of course, Kevin Kisner is a perfect style course for him. I almost like if the chalk could talk. That's why I felt like that was the theme last week. Yeah,
really interesting, man, because as you mentioned, you look at that final leaderboard after all the smoke cleared, and you were surprised by basically no one up there. But yet at the same time, it was almost impossible to get 6 out of 6 through last week, man. I looked at the Cut Sweat's Twitter page, and it was somewhere around there, down there, 2-3% AP of the lineups was 6 out of 6 through last week. So looking back in hindsight, at the final leaderboard, you say, hey, this all makes sense. But yet you all also had some key guys miss the cut, man. And it was just one of those weeks where it, maybe due to salary, kind of the way it led roster construction, very, very few people got 6 out of 6. I had 0 6 out of 6s last week, which, rarely happens. And I had 1 0 out of 6 last week. and it actually was a pretty good lineup, I felt like. So it was just one of those weird weeks from a DFS perspective. From a real golf perspective, it kind of all made sense, but from a DFS perspective, proved to be really tough.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, Joe. How even though it looked pretty chalky on the leaderboard, the cut sweats was very low. That's right. Yeah. So moving on this week, Northern Trust at one of my and your favorite stops, Liberty National, New Jersey. It's a shame the TPC Boston, Liberty National are on a rotation because they're two of the great golf courses that we get to see visually on TV. And this is a interesting deal. First round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Like we said, Liberty National or the Northern Trust has played the Liberty National Golf Club, which is in Jersey City, New Jersey. This tournament's been around for quite a while. It's been around since 1967. However, this is only the fourth time ever this tournament has been played at Liberty National Golf Club. Played here in 2009, won by Heath Slocum. 2013, won by Adam Scott. And 2019, won by Patrick Reed. And this is the fourth playing. As far as the golf course goes, designed by Tom Kite and Bob Cupp in 2006, 7,400 yard par 71. Been a few changes since 2019. Looks like some bunker differences, an additional tee, a couple additional tees, removed a bunker on number 9, added a tee on 13. Okay, so just a few little things here and there. Bent grass greens, bent grass tees, bent grass fairways, and inch and a quarter to 3 inch bluegrass rough, which is very minute for tour players. So as far as the golf course, anything you want to talk about the golf course, Joe?
Yeah, man. Kind of an interesting golf course. Always such really cool views. Kind of see the New York skyline. I always think that's really neat every time that we go to Liberty National. But it seems like the cream rises to the top on this golf course, Andrew. Obviously, strokes gained approach. If I'm circling one statistic this week, I'm going to strokes gained approach. Iron play has proven to be kind of the great separator here, but I think this is a golf course that demands kind of excellence in all areas. So I feel like you're looking for guys more so than targeting one specific statistical category. Whereas last week there was a very concrete set of skills that we were looking for last week, right? We wanted guys that could hit fairways, good iron players, guys that could get hot with the putter. And while we're certainly looking for good iron players this week, I think this golf course kind of demands that you do everything really well. And that's why we tend to see, you mentioned Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, quality players win on this golf course. So I look for this to be a really good one, especially with this field we got, man. It's kind of a major championship-like field this week. All the top 125 are in attendance except for Louis. He's the only one in the top 125 that won't be teeing it up this week. So I expect a really good golf tournament, Andrew.
I agree. Field is excellent. And let's just get right into it then, Joe. Two names at the very, very top, John Rahm, 11.5, DJ, 11,000. It's crazy that these salaries are so high at the very, very top, considering the field's strength. So out of these two, are you going to be taking a look at either one?
Yeah, I think both players deserve consideration. I don't know that you have to go here this week, especially with DJ. We feel like he's trending in the right direction. We know that he turns it on this time of year. Obviously, last year ran away with this event on a different golf course and dominated throughout the playoffs to win the FedEx Cup. John Rahm, huge breakthrough win at the U.S. Open. We know what type of player he is. We know that he's capable of handling any type of golf course. So I think that's certainly a big check mark beside his name. We're looking for guys that can do everything well, and John Rahm certainly falls in that category. So I don't know that I feel that you need to go up here, AP, but I think certainly are both strong plays this week.
Right. So let's look at it. I'm going to look at something real quick on John Rahm since the Players Championship. Tied 9th at Players Championship, tied 5th at Masters, missed the cut, Wells Fargo, 34th at the Byron Nelson, 8th at the PGA, missed the cut at the Memorial, 1st at the U.S. Open, 7th Scottish Open, 3rd Open Championship. Joe, easily Jon Rahm's best year ever on tour. Not sure he will be player of the year, but the guy is just consistently pumping out. And, we didn't really talk about him the first half of the year because, like we said, is like he hasn't played very good, but he finished almost top 10 every week. So, the guy's had a great year.
I think we talked about it at that time, Andrew. If I remember correctly, I remember coming into this year, made the equipment change. That was kind of a little bit of a concern. Went from Callaway went from TaylorMade to Callaway. So that was kind of a concern coming into the year. Seemed like he got off to a sluggish start, but you mentioned, looking back in retrospect, the guy was consistently logging top tens, and then has a top 5 at the Masters. It seems like he was extremely quiet that week, coming off the birth of his child. Hadn't played a lot of golf. Didn't hear much from him until that final round. You look up, top 5, had a top 10 at the Players, top 10 at the PGA, won the Memorial, then did win the U.S. Open and had a top 3 at the Open Championship. So, I mean, what else does the guy have to do, to kind of earn some respect? And he certainly has mine. And, I think he's a great play this week, man. The only drawback for me is that, as you mentioned, that 11.5 price tag.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to roster either one of these with this strength of this field. So many great players to pay that much to bring your average player ratings down so low if you pick one of them. I'm definitely out on DJ this week. Current form is just not very good, in my opinion. Moving on down, this is a very juicy range here in the 10K. Jordan Spieth, Xander, Morikawa, Koepka, McIlroy. I really wish Jordan was a little more inexpensive, because I really see him playing well this week. I think, let me look real quick. I believe, well, there we go. I believe Jordan was tied for 6th last time it was played here in 2019. So, I just see him playing well, man. He's played great all year, and he's right now is the quiet one with these top 10 finishes that we're not talking about very much. Several others we're not talking about, but I really see him playing well this week. I hate that his price range is 10-8, but out of that group right there, he's easily my favorite player.
Yeah, man. We both love Jordan Spieth. Had an excellent year, a huge comeback year, really put himself back in that conversation of golf's elite players. Just narrowly missed winning a major over at the Open, so close there. And you have to figure he'll be motivated to kind of finish off this great comeback year with a FedEx Cup win. So I look for him to play extremely well this week and throughout the FedEx Cup playoffs. Certainly has the ability tee to green. We know how hot he can get with his putter. You mentioned he's played well here in the past. Actually had 2 good finishes here. Had a T19 back in 2013. First in this field, Andrew, in strokes gained total and Draftkings points over the last 50 rounds. And he's really just been statistically solid since kind of finding his game back in Phoenix. So I love Jordan here. As you mentioned, the price is a bit of a drawback. Then you look at Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Brooks Koepka. These guys can win any week on any course. Morikawa's ball striking always kind of puts him at the top of any list you might want to make. First in this field in strokes gained approach, ball striking, and tee to green over the last 24 rounds. Obviously won the Open Championship, was fighting for a medal in the Olympics. Xander took home the gold medal in the Olympics. We know that he's a great all-around player. And Brooks, man, when he's going, it's really tough to argue against him. The irons have looked so much better as of late. And then Rory, man. Rory's a play that I'm really interested in rostering this week, AP. Kind of saves you the most of these 10K plus guys there at the even 10K price tag. His ball striking has been phenomenal, man. He's gained strokes off the tee, on approach and tee to green in his last 6 starts. Every start since the Masters. The ball striking's there. We just need the putter to get hot. And it feels like he's just a decent putting week away from another win. Has played well here in the past. Very good course history on this Liberty National layout. So I love Rory there at 10. A little bit surprised that he's the one that jumps out to me, but I'll be starting a lot of lineups with Rory McIlroy this week.
Was that maybe too his ownership's going to be a little bit lower, you feel?
Yeah, I'd imagine. He's going to pop in some models just because of the ball striking. We do this on Monday night, so we're kind of only have an early guess as to ownership, but I would imagine that his ownership would be a little bit lower than some of these other guys. But he will pop in models because the ball striking, like I said, man, has really been off the charts as of late.
Yeah. Moving on to the 9K range, 2 guys at the very top. They're going to catch a lot of people's eyes just because of the price versus the value. JT DeChambeau. I've already been seeing JT's name thrown out there on Twitter a lot early. We're not used to seeing his odds this high to win the tournament. So, Joe, are you sold on JT yet? Or is he still got a lot of work to go? As DeChambeau got over the whole whatever happened on the back nine in Memphis, and sliding on down, anybody else you like in the 9K range?
Man, 2 guys that I'm having trouble putting my finger on here lately. Andrew, JT, I've kind of been there, and now I feel like I'm starting to lose faith a little bit. The irons look good in Memphis in his last start, but the putter was horrific. And he just hadn't been able to put those 2 things together. It's as simple as that. When that happens, we'll start seeing him contend again and maybe get another win. So I don't think you're ever really going wrong with JT, but it seems like we've kind of chased away this latter portion of the year trying to roster him and waiting for him to put things together, and just hadn't happened yet. Bryson, man, I do not know where to put the guy right now. Didn't like him at all in Memphis. Was kind of completely out on him, and he made me feel a little bit silly with his run there. Played extremely good golf, but on paper, on the surface, this golf course doesn't seem like a great fit for his current style. But that being said, he's very good with long irons in his hand. Very good from 200 plus yards. That's something we can look at this week as far as being important on this layout. So, man, the upside there is there. The winnability, as you call it, is there. So, you can always take a look at Bryson, even though I'm a little shell-shocked with him right now. My guys down below him, man, love this range. Hovland, Answer, Sheffler, Cantlay, Berger. Really like this range right here. I mean, I can see myself going here multiple times throughout the week. Answer finally got that huge breakthrough win in Memphis. I loved him that week, and I'm willing to stay on this week. He had a runner-up finish here in 2019 to Patrick Reed, and he lost strokes putting that week. So this golf course fits his game very, very well. Hits fairways, an excellent iron player, and you got to feel like he's going to be bringing a lot of confidence into this week after getting that big win in Memphis. Scotty Sheffler, I hate to say it, but I said it before Answer's win in Memphis. It feels like a breakthrough win is coming for this guy, and he seems to play his best in golf's biggest events. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Scotty Sheffler have a very good playoffs. And Daniel Berger, man, just very, very quietly playing excellent golf, very solid, 3rd in this field in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. And he's another guy that, kind of flies under the radar a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a really good week on this golf course.
Yeah, Daniel Berger to me is a great player. I just feel like he does play well in a lot of tournaments. Don't get me wrong, Joe, but I feel like he really shines in the weaker field tournaments. That seems to be when his victories come. But I do like him at 9,100. Matsuyama, love him. 9,000. He's been playing great. I agree with you. Scotty Sheffler could make a great playoff run. So moving on down to the 8K, this is good. This is even the top here is very interesting to me as well. You still got Webb Simpson, who seems to be making a turn. English, who's been playing great. Paul Casey, a very good vet that could turn it on at any time. Patrick Reed, defending champion here. Adam Scott nearly won. Cam Smith, one of your favorite players. Corey Connors, one of the best all-around players on tour. Nobody knows what's happened to top 5 Tony. He is MIA. Joaquin Neenum, Sam Burns. Joe, hit on this range. Can't hear you, Joe.
Just pick your poison here, AP. Very major championship lock. This 8K range this week, man. This is like something we'd see at the Masters, something we'd see at the U.S. Open. Webb Simpson 8,900. You mentioned. It feels like he's coming. An amazing iron week last week. His best statistical approach week of the year last week. So I think we can look at Webb. He's played well in this golf tournament before. On this golf course, has a couple of top 20 finishes in his last 2 trips to Liberty National. Harris English, the guy is playing amazing. Very unfortunate back 9 in Memphis. So you kind of have to wonder how much of a hangover there's going to be from that, Andrew. If we throw that out the window, though, I really like the fit for him this week. I just don't know how he's going to bounce back from that. You have to imagine it was a pretty devastating letdown for him there. That stretch at the WGC St. Jude. You mentioned Paul Casey and Patrick Reed. Reed's a former winner here. He always seems to step it up this time of year. We know what he's capable of when he gets things going. Paul Casey just consistently seems to be there, man, all the time. Cam Smith has just grinded things out all year. Maybe not had his best game at times, but seems to be able to find a way to get things done. Very similar to Patrick Reed, who won on this golf course in 2019. And then you got Adam Scott, man, tremendous course history. Winner here in 2013, had a 5th place finish here in 2019, and he's coming off his best statistical performance of the year last week at the Wyndham. But speaking of hangovers, man, how does Scotty shake off that missed 4-footer on the first playoff hole to win that thing last week? It's either going to buoy him a little bit this week, or he's going to kind of have his head hanging down. So it's going to be an interesting decision on what to do with Adam Scott. If we take that out of the equation, then I really like the way he fits here. And Corey Connors, man, amazing at the start of the year. Had a little bit of a lull there, and he's trending back in the right direction. So I really like Corey Connors. Love his iron play and his ball striking on this golf course.
Yeah, love that 8K range. Moving on to the 7K range, last week's champion, Kevin Kisner. I don't have the same belief in him this week as I did last week, but this is where we get some pretty good prices on some very good players, Joe. Matty Fitzpatrick's been playing great. 7,800 basically, I think we're starting to get Sanjay M where he could possibly get to a price, Joe, where we're just going to start putting him in there no matter what. Terrell Hatton, easily the best player in the 7K range, in my opinion. I'm not sure how this course lines out for him. Our guy, Kokrak, and many more down here in the 7K range, Joe. Hit on a few of them if you don't mind.
Yeah, man, you mentioned Terrell Hatton and Sung J M. Those two certainly jump out kind of right off the bat. We saw Hatton priced down in Memphis. Played well there, Andrew. Had a T17. But yeah, we still see him with this sub 8K price tag. So I'm willing to go right back to Terrell Hatton. You mentioned Sung J. This is the price where I like to roster him. Sub 8Ks. Had a top 25 last week, but not playing his best golf. I still kind of go back to the letdown you have to imagine after the Olympics. We know how important that was for him, and just not been playing his best lately, but certainly the upside's there. And I'm willing to gamble on it at this price. Kokrak, the course history is very solid. Long-term statistics are very good, but we're talking short-term recent form. Hasn't looked great. Missed the cut last week at the Wyndham. Played very poorly from tee to green, really, but the course history's there, and he's the type of guy that can take advantage of this layout. Poulter, it's a Ryder Cup year. It's a Ryder Cup year, Andrew. He's trending in the right direction. This golf course isn't too long for him, so I think he can compete here. So I'm really interested in looking at Ian Poulter down there. Harmon's let us down a little bit here recently. And Russell Henley, can we jump back on that? We love the iron play from Henley. We love the explosiveness, but kind of like I mentioned with Harris English, you have to figure last week is a huge letdown. You don't know how he's going to bounce back from that, but a lot of really solid plays in this 7K range. I'll even go down to Shane Lowry there at 7,500. A guy who's kind of Patrick Reed like, does everything really well, excellent around the greens, can make putts, hits fairways, hits greens. So he sticks out to me in this mid 7K range. And as we work our way down, just more names we know, this feels absolutely stacked.
Yeah, Joe, it does. It does. You could land on so many players you like for so many different reasons here in the 7,000 range. And really, as you get down to sixes, there's more players that you like, more names you know. Is there anybody that sticks out to you that you just can't pass up in the 6K range? I'll start with one. I'm going to have a hard time passing on Alex Noren down here, Joe. He does a lot of good things. Him and Chris Kirk both are here sub 7K.
Yeah, man. You mentioned that it's one of those weeks, Andrew, where a lot of times we're struggling to find guys that we're willing to roster. This week we're struggling to get guys out of our player pool. There are just that many legitimate options this week. It's not in the 6Ks, but right there at it at 7K, Seamus Power, certainly deserves consideration with how he's played this year. I think you can look at him and feel very comfortable there at that 7K range. Dropping down, a couple of guys that we've depended on pretty heavily this year. Mcneely jumps out at 6,900, man. Playing extremely good golf down the stretch this year. A golf course that he can take advantage of. Roger Sloan has been on a heater. Chris Kirk looked much, much better last week. And EVR finally kind of came through there with a big win at the Barracuda. But if you're asking me my favorites here, Seamus Power sticks out at 7K. Mcneely at 6'9". Those would probably be my top two options. Mackenzie Hughes, man, I don't ever want to sleep on Mackenzie Hughes because that guy seems to show up just when you least expect it in the biggest events. He can get nuclear hot with a putter. So crazier things have happened than Mackenzie Hughes making a run this week.
Yeah, really big questions. Who is Nagel's going to be falling around up there?
He's going to be falling around wrong.
Yeah, I doubt that. So before we get into the heart play of the week, Joe, we want to thank Rotoballer.com for everything you do for us. When you're signing up for that PGA premium program, hit that promo code NICE, right, Joe? And closing out the year, let's hit on a few things we got going on for them.
Yeah, man. We always hope you guys will go over there and check out our content. Really proud of what we've done this year. Really proud of the direction that we're headed in. Really looking forward to next season. We got Andy Lack on board. Josh Bennett does an amazing hole-by-hole course breakdown. Andrew, you help us out with the expert roundtable over there. And my guy, my main man, Spencer, knocking out the Vegas report every week. And he's got an amazing model over there. A little too much to go through it all, but we hope you'll go to rotoballer.com, check it out. Also let you know we got football starting up, and we can take you through every week of the football season. I'll be doing a DraftKings article over there. You can use the promo code NICE, even on the football package, and still get a discount. So I hope you guys will do it. Check it out. Tons of great content in every sport over there at Rotoballer.
That's right. Rotoballer.com, best place in the world for your daily fantasy needs. If you like what you heard tonight, give us a sub, man. Give us a subscribe, like wherever it is you're listening, whether it be Google Podcasts, whether it be on the Anchor Network, whether it be on Apple Podcast Network, YouTube, wherever it is, like it, share it. We appreciate it. Hit us up on Twitter, AndrewPutters, Joe Nicely. Joe, heart play of the week. Who you got?
We're going straight heart play. Man, so many guys I like up there, AP. Not even kidding, man. I think you could go tons of directions and you're doing well. I'm gonna go Rory. The numbers, man, the tee to green numbers are just hard to ignore. It's probably gonna be more of the same. We're probably gonna have one bad round and 3 great rounds, and he's probably gonna lose 3 strokes putting and gain 8 strokes tee to green. But I'm going with Rory. I like the ball striking. I like the course fit, And you know, it's you're just looking for one of those weeks where he finds the putter.
There you go. My heart play of the week, Joe. I see Rory. I actually could see Rory in the last group. If Jordan Spieth, they'll come out firing on all cylinders and win this tournament. My heart play is you got Rory in that final group on Sunday paired with Bryson DeChambeau, and Bryson's out driving him by 40 yards, putting the full-blown intimidation on him, and comes out with the victory, Joe, because of his slow play will piss off Rory. And I'm telling you, man, a guy I really loathe, Bryson DeChambeau, walks away with the championship this weekend. He's playing.
How many guys are we going to let Bryson just ruin tournaments before we stop the slow play? I mean, something's got to be done, man. Something's got to be done with this dude.
I know
he's getting out of hand. I don't know that I love how Brooks has kind of went at him. I love the whole thing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know that I love kind of how Brooks has went at him, the way in which he's done it. But man, this dude, he just really gets under my skin, man. I like everybody, and I don't like this dude.
Bryson DeChambeau wins this week, Joe. I hate to tell you. So go ahead and get ready. Go ahead and get mad. We'll probably be watching it while we draft our
I'm on tilt just thinking about it.
We'll probably be watching as we're drafting our Sunday stroll. Draft coming up this Sunday.
Draft coming up this Sunday. Man.
Who's the dart, man? Let's throw some little coin on the dart here, Joe.
A lot of good darts also, man. A lot of good darts also. I want to go off script of AP. I want to go with a guy. Hold on, let me look here. Let me see. I've been wanting to get this dude's name out there. Johnny Vegas. Johnny Vegas. God. That's the way I'm going. We're talking a deep dart, 7,100. Look at that game log, AP. Look at those numbers. This guy can get hot. This guy can win. He can make deep runs and crazy stack fields. We've seen him do it before. Couple of runner-up finishes as of late. Hadn't finished outside the top 15 in his last 3 starts. Johnny Vegas, that's my dart this week.
I'm gonna
Who you got?
Terrell Hatton, 7,800. Terrell Hatton, great value at his price. Great value, probably great value on the odds, I'm sure. I love Terrell Hatton's game. That's my dart play of the week. Terrell Hatton, Johnny Vegas, and Rory McIlroy.
One of these things is not like the other.
Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy, heart play of the week. Joe Nicely, Andrew Putters. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Rotoballer.com, for everything you do for us. When you sign up for that PGA Premium, hit the promo code NICE, whether it be golf, football, whatever it is you're looking for. Best place in the world for your daily fantasy needs. Thank you, everybody, for listening again. This is the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast.
I've already hit 3 in the lake. It's gonna drive me. It's gonna drive me. It's gonna